songs, let me tell you about a friend. It's Craig LeBlanc, where the good times never end. Talking Parks and Rec, it's a show you gotta know. Welcome one and all to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. It's the Daily Parks and Rec Show.
It was good. I think the transition from my supervisor to letting me lead, because he was involved in every step, it definitely had its moments of, I guess, me being young, having like that supervisory voice saying, hey, I need you to do this, and them not trying to listen to my previous supervisor, right?
All right, we are live again. This is Craig LeBlanc with the Daily Parks and Rec Show. Our mission here is to produce and start a media company all for parks and recreation, similar to how all these sports enthusiasts are tuning into ESPN when they want to get their sports fix. We want to do the same thing for the parks and rec industry. It's never been done before, and there was an idea that we had a little over a year ago, and we're getting ready to cross our 500th episode in the last 14 months. So congratulations to the team. And big shout out to all of our show guests that have come on and shared their journey and story in the Parks and Rec, and really gotten a chance to tell America why Parks and Rec is such an essential service to the community, and then how it kind of feeds them and why they've chosen Parks and Recreation as a career path. And it's just been great to see all the different jobs and the great work that's going on in these different community that's involved in Parks and Recreation. Which is kind of what we were looking to do, kind of highlight the stories. And so fast forward to today, we actually have 10 weekly shows that air each week. And this is the leadership series. It's the first show we've ever had. It's Monday through Thursday, 12 noon show, highlighting the leaders of Parks and Recreation. And then we have a lot of other shows. We just recently launched the Aquatics Life Show with our host, Wesley King, every Friday at 1:30 p.m. We have the Youth Sports Mastery Show. We have On the Front Line, which is the military Parks and Rec, and just now we're basically a whole family of shows. Kind of like how you see ESPN has like the basketball segment and the football segment and the college women's softball segment and stuff. So in a very similar way, we're trying to build a media company that highlights all the parts of Parks and Recreation. And today we have a special guest, Rae Moore from Concord, North Carolina. And she focuses on special events, but per usual, most Parks and Rec people have really touched so many parts of Parks and Rec. So we'll dig into her journey and how she got to where she is today, and why she has chosen Parks and Rec as a place where she's going to dedicate her life to bringing value to her community. So we're going to play a quick promo, kind of explaining a lot of that. And then we're also going to give a big shout out to Outdoor Link, one of our primary sponsors that started us really since the beginning. So big shout out to DJ, the owner of the company, second generation entrepreneur, very well run company. And Tasha and Dave are in charge of getting in touch with the Parks and Rec industry, helping Parks and Recreation to become smart cities. And so just like we have these smart homes, imagine if your city was a smart city where everything is interconnected and you control your lights and splash pads and bathroom door locks all from a cell phone or a centralized desktop, and you're not having to send, your superintendent, or sometimes the director has to climb out of bed on a Sunday to turn the lights off because the coach accidentally left them on. Well, now you can manage all this from your cell phone, from the beach chair when you're on vacation. So it makes life a whole lot simpler when you're trying to manage everything there is in Parks and Recreation. So Jovi, why don't you go ahead and hit those two promos, and when we come right back, we'll start our conversation with Rae.
Welcome to DPRS Media Network, the voice of Parks and Recreation professionals, where leadership grows, facilities thrive, and communities connect. Leadership Series, insights from the leaders shaping our industry. Facility maintenance, the backbone of safe and sustainable spaces. Young Professionals Network, empowering the next generation of Parks and Rec leaders. The Rec Room, real conversations, real stories, real impact. Youth Sports Mastery, elevating the game for athletes and communities. Smart Parks Forward, innovation driving the future of recreation. On the Front Line, honoring those who serve our communities every day. Athletes Commute, the journey behind the performance. The aquatics life, everything aquatics, safety, staffing, sustainability. Safe Spaces and Green Spaces, a show exploring the connection between nature and mental well-being. And we don't just tell the stories, we show up where it happens. From local gatherings to national parks and recreation conferences, DPRS Media Network is on the ground, capturing conversations, highlighting innovation, and amplifying the voices shaping our industry's future. DPRS Media Network, connecting parks, empowering people, inspiring communities.
In today's parks and recreation industry, communication, safety, and efficiency go hand in hand. That's where Outdoor Link comes in, delivering smart technology that empowers city departments and community planners to do more, smarter. Outdoor Link's platform connects and automates everything that keeps your parks running smoothly, from lighting and locks to signage, water features, Wi-Fi, and digital advertising. Control and schedule park lights for safety and energy savings. Remotely manage facility access. Update digital displays in real time. Coordinate fountains and splash pads. Provide public connectivity. And even run community or sponsorship campaigns on digital screens. All from one simple, unified platform, giving you real-time control, data, and cost efficiency. For parks and recreation agencies, that means safer spaces, smarter resource use, faster responses, and stronger community engagement. And behind every great park story is great infrastructure. That's why Outdoor Link proudly supports DPRS Media Company, helping the daily Parks and Rec show amplify the voices of professionals shaping our communities every day. Outdoor Link, smart, connected solutions for parks, recreation, and beyond.
All right, let's go ahead and bring Rae up on stage. How are you doing today, Rae?
Good. How about you?
Fantastic. Are y'all have any happy Easter to everyone. I think this is kind of Easter week. I know this is somewhat of I'm just joking here, it's a dead time for Parks and Recreation, right?
I was gonna say I could tell a funny story. My first event was Easter, and all the Easter eggs were flying out the back of the pickup truck.
Perfect.
So,
what do y'all put in y'all's Easter eggs? Do y'all have like candy and stuff y'all put in them?
yeah, that was back in the day. We would get the pre-filled eggs, and they would have candy or toys in them.
Oh, that's cheating. I didn't know you had such thing as a pre-filled egg.
Oh yeah, everybody should know about that by now.
All right, so where do y'all get that from? This will be a great little piece of information. Did you know there's a company that will fill your eggs for you?
I want to say it was like goosomething.com. I'd have to look it up and share it with you.
Yeah. And so how many eggs do y'all order?
Back in the day, I ordered probably about 10,000 plus eggs.
Oh my gosh, no wonder you wanted them pre-filled.
Yeah.
Did you ever have to fill them before you discovered that?
Thankfully, no.
Oh my gosh, I never even thought about that. So I imagine every city that runs an Easter egg hunt has figured this one out, because this is a major pain point. If you've got whole staff has to show up and stuff Easter eggs.
Yeah.
So what kind of goodies do y'all have in the Easter eggs coming up?
I used to purchase bikes and scooters, the big electronic toys as your big prize, and then purchase small things as like chalk and little coloring books, whatever you can find at maybe the dollar store, just to help skate by.
Yeah.
The big prizes were like the bikes.
Yeah. Now I know we kind of just jump right into special events. That's kind of the topic we wanted to talk about with special events. Y'all have an Easter egg hunt coming up that you're managing?
Not that I'm managing. I know my hometown just had theirs this past Saturday. They had a good turnout. And then my department now, he doesn't do an Easter egg hunt. I guess it's an actual hunt. They have to find the eggs in the parks. So it's not like a one-day event. It's kind of throughout a couple weeks.
I see. So you've got like, what are you given, like a little treasure map, and you kind of got to go find it?
Something like that. And we have 4 parks, and I think they can go around and find certain eggs and then turn it into our park office and get whatever prize they have collected.
Oh, that's cool. And then you can actually have people, that's actually a great idea, to have people see all the parks.
Another idea I've been a part of was it was called the Golden Shoe, and
Uh-huh.
people would donate used tennis shoes. So we're kind of repurposing instead of trashing tennis shoes, and
Uh,
they would paint them gold. And as they collected the tennis shoes on the event day, they got prizes as well. So it was in collaboration with the Easter event. So it was like it's just a big event that they did.
oh, fantastic. Are you going to have like an Easter bunny to take pictures with?
Oh, of course.
Oh, now who do you get to? Who volunteers for that? Do you have like a mascot for hire, or does somebody on the staff do that?
It's normally a staff person, whoever was the most recent hire, or if there's someone willing, then go for it.
Right. Have you ever been an Easter bunny?
Nope, thankfully.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know
You
how
know,
I sneaked by.
I was in a former life, I was a Kentucky cheerleader, and I sprained my ankle, and but I just couldn't do all the tumbling and stuff, but I could still attend the games. And I got to be the Louisiana Tech Bulldog for one game at a football game, and it was hot, but it was the most fun because you could mess with the police officers, you could like mess with the other cheerleaders, and it was a
Mascots
blast.
they're kind of untouchable.
Yeah, that's right. You can get away with a lot when you're a mascot,
Yeah.
pretending to be some cartoon character on the field.
Mhm.
Um, okay, so let's kind of dig in a little bit about how you got involved in Parks and Recreation. Were you kind of one of these park rats that just grew up in Parks and Recreation, or what was your first exposure to it?
Yeah, not realizing it growing up. I went to our after school program and I played youth athletics. So from the time I was 5, I was involved. And then, like I said, not realizing it until I got older, I became a lifeguard and then I started working for the same after school that I attended. So kind of a full circle moment. And then throughout those years, I worked my way up to athletics, athletic director, athletic coordinator, and then I started overseeing our special events. And then somewhere through COVID, I got granted the aquatics, our community pool, which, as most aquatics people would say, they probably would not like to stay
Yeah.
in.
Right.
But so I did that for maybe 2, 3 years during COVID, after COVID. And so, yeah, I've kind of touched on a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
and now,
we actually do a weekly show every Friday on aquatics with Wesley King, and I told him, I said, we were like, well, so who are we going to bring on the show? And we're kind of just trying to, because it's 52 shows a year, and so we're trying to design out the content for the whole year, for the whole calendar year. And I was like, why don't we just spend maybe one or two shows defining what aquatics is? And we're on our fourth show, and I don't see the end in sight. Like, I'm like, we might spend the whole year just
yeah.
defining aquatics.
I mean,
There's
there's so
so,
many like areas of aquatics. You got the
yeah,
maintenance, you got the staffing.
yeah.
There's a lot to it.
Oh, he was talking about the seniors, and he told me, he said 70% of the revenue for aquatic centers come from seniors,
Okay.
as just a national average. And a lot of times we think that seniors is just kind of like a sideshow. He's like, no, they pay the bills. Like when the seniors are doing something, get out of their way because they
Mhm.
show up and they use the pool and they do water aerobics or they do all this kind of stuff. And then you kind of fit the kids in the swim lessons and everything else around them.
Yep.
But man, it's just a lot. I think we spent the entire last show talking about non-pool activity. And it started like on the car ride there, like prepare your kid to kind of sit through a safety protocol,
Mhm.
whatever. Otherwise, the kid's thinking at home, he's going to do a cannonball as soon as he gets out the car into the
Mhm.
deep end. And he's like, nope, I want to put the brakes on that. But yeah, there's a lot that goes into aquatics. So who was the first Parks and Rec? Do you remember the first Parks and Rec professional that you met, like when you were young?
Like as a kid,
Yeah, as a kid.
um, professional, I would probably say our athletic director. I remember him just because I grew up through all the leagues, and
Mhm.
that's the job that I took his job when I got out of college. So that kind of, again, like full circle moment.
His actual, like you took the
Yeah,
person's job? No
yeah, because
way.
he moved on. So then that's when I became the interim athletic director.
And how old were you when you met him?
Uh, I guess if you want to count T-ball, it was 5. If he had done it
No
all the
way.
league.
So at 5 year old, you
Yeah,
met the guy that you were going to
yeah,
replace.
yeah.
And how many years was that later? What, like 15 years
I
later?
was 21, 22 when I got a full
Wow.
time. So yeah,
Wow. That's a great story.
yeah.
What's he doing now, or do you keep track of him?
He he runs a private driving school company.
No way.
And then I know
Oh,
he's really big into golf. I do know that.
oh, there you go. Yeah, that's a noble job there to teach a
Mhm.
teenager how to drive. You're taking your life in your hands. I don't know how they do it.
No, me neither.
That's scary because I had a lot of daughters, and some of them they were just natural drivers, and some of them I was like, I don't. Maybe we should consider waiting a decade before we let you back on the streets. um, okay, so what was your college like? Did you kind of know by then that you wanted to do something in Parks and Recreation, or not yet?
No, you would think that I would wanna pursue sports management or
Uh,
something, but I went into it thinking I would be, studying psychology and sociology, human services, and, again, I was working throughout college in our Parks and Rec department, not even still not thinking it was a career path, I don't know, it just didn't seem like a full-time career path, and, again, fortunately, I got the athletic director job after college. I was graduating in May and he was leaving. So I was able to step into that role. They wanted to hire internally and they said, would you be interested? And I said, I mean, I guess I do like athletics. Why not?
nice.
I needed a job. So,
Yeah. You know, I think having a psychology degree in Parks and Rec might, in hindsight, might be the actual degree you want to get.
right.
'Cause
It helps a little bit.
there's so much chaos in the people and the parents and the vendors and it's a lot of it's just
Mhm.
relationships.
Very, yeah,
Um,
very much.
all right, so you graduated. What degree did you actually graduate with?
The human services and community youth development. So a
Oh,
little
okay.
mix there.
Yeah, that kind of helps out. Did that
Yeah.
help out at all with your, in
Um,
hindsight, looking back?
in hindsight, looking back with the like you said, the relationships, partnerships, I knew
Hmm.
a lot of people in the area, and it definitely helped foster the relationships as I went, I guess, more professional now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, so let's talk about that first year. So your first job title, that's athletic director, right?
correct.
Okay, so what did that first? I know it's like drinking from a fire hose when you get into Parks and Recreation. What was that first year like? What was kind of your day to day?
I remember it was baseball season and Easter. So, like 2 weeks in, we were planning Easter, had the eggs spilling out the truck, trying to do that. And then gathering uniforms and baseball equipment, trying to find coaches because we
Oh,
did not
wow.
league meet with that, so I had to find coaches. And then just game schedules, practice schedules, all that good stuff. But I will say my first year, we only had spring baseball, fall football, and basketball. By the
Mm,
time I left, we probably had like 7 or 8 seasons going.
yeah.
So
Any secrets to finding coaches?
Um, be nice.
Just ask.
Really, yeah,
Ask the parent.
just ask. That's the best advice I've ever been given. If you don't ask, they can't say no.
That's
So,
right. That's
um,
right. That's a powerful word just to ask. And it's funny how it's you always build in your mind the worst case response, and it usually never happens. Um, I don't know why that happens because a lot of times when you just ask parents, they're just, they're already there and their
mhm.
kids playing. Um,
I was
but
gonna
ref,
say I used to try to like get them on board, and if they were like, "Well, I've never done this before," I'm like, "Oh, it's easy," and
that's
just
it.
like play it off. Yeah. And once they said yes, it was like they coached for years.
Yeah, yeah. Really, the only thing you're responsible for, I guess this goes out to all parents that are kind of on the fence. You're just responsible for the kids having fun. If you can
Mhm.
handle that, because if the kids are having fun, they show up, they re-sign up, they make friends, and maybe they learn how to play soccer in the process. But just
Maybe.
getting the kids out there, I think is the most important part, and making sure they have a good time.
Mhm.
How,
I coached last season my nephew in wee ball, which is like 3 and 4 year olds, and that's all it was about. Just let them have fun, run the bases.
right. Yeah, I tell you, if you haven't watched a group of 5-year-olds all huddle around a soccer ball on a field, just moving
Yeah,
a pack with the soccer ball in the middle, it's
yeah.
hysterical. And I love those parents that actually try to, win the game. And I'm like, man, these guys, if they can just kick the ball, they're doing good.
Mhm.
How about referees? Were you responsible for finding those as well and getting those involved?
Yeah, so kind of part of my experience, I was a scorekeeper a little bit in high school.
Mhm.
And so when I got the athletic director job, of course, now I'm working with the same booking agent that I worked for as the scorekeeper.
Mhm.
So that helped there. And we had our struggles because as our department grew and added more sports, of course, he had a difficult time finding more officials. So me and him kind of went back and forth a lot on, well, I need officials and you're under contract. So
Ah,
whatever he could do. But there was a time or two where I had to fill in, of course.
oh yeah, 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 yeah. Well, so what's it like being an official? What was your first experience like? And
Uh,
what do you remember the game of the sport or anything?
First time was probably a coach pitch baseball game, if I
Uh,
had to recall. That or maybe like flag football. But the baseball was always fun because you had the coaches thinking I was going to call balls and strikes perfectly. And I'm like,
right,
I'm just sitting here behind the mound, making sure they have fun.
right.
Um, and as long as the kids hit the ball, I'm gonna do the best I can. Um, which is funny because now I'm officiating t-ball and volleyball and all this other stuff on the side when I don't have time, but I still do it just because you love the sport, you love the
Yeah,
game. It's all about the kids. So
yeah. Have you, you know, I would probably make a horrible umpire because I would get distracted. They would pitch the ball and I wouldn't be paying attention, and they'd be looking to me to kind of make the decision. I'm like, does anybody see that one?
or keeping up with the balls and strikes. After the fourth, fifth pitch, you're like, was that the first strike?
What number are we on?
Yep.
Did you ever miss one or not pay attention? Did that ever happen to you?
Yes, most definitely.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I've never been a referee on any kind of sports field, but you played sports, so you kind of knew the rules of it of
Yeah.
some of them.
Yeah, I played pretty much every sport growing up. That, like I said, now I'm a high school volleyball official, so which is
Oh, nice.
ironic because I didn't play volleyball but one season, so I don't know how I got into that so easily, but
Yeah. And so, okay, so you got your first year under the belt. What kind of big lessons did you take away from that first year? Now that you're kind of got your feet wet in Parks and Rec, was there like a part of Parks and Rec you discovered there? It's like, okay, now that I kind of see how this works, I think I want to go this direction. Or what did that look like?
um, yes and no. I think my first year was definitely learning by like just learning
Trial by
every day.
fire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, trial by fire because that's not what I went to school for. They told me, do what he did, right? And so I did what I saw him do, which was not as active approach, some people would say. And so anytime we had my first year was spending time weeding out all the bad coaches. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
So that was a fun time. I'm 21, trying to get in between a, let's say, 45-year-old woman who's yelling at the official.
Mm,
Wasn't very good. It wasn't a good mix.
yeah. And so maybe we can kind of define, you don't have to mention any names, but like what makes a bad coach? What are some traits of a bad coach? And maybe what are some traits of a good coach?
Okay, I'll start with the good coach. I think it's being on time, communicating with their parents, at least just showing up. That's step one.
Yeah.
Um, and then, of course, keeping their composure during the game practices. A bad coach, I've had my fair share, and I would say anyone who's running late, definitely with attitude problems, or it's one thing to get very passionate during a game. I'm very passionate when I coach, but there's a difference when you start to, I guess, elevate and yell at the official.
Mm,
There's just a difference there, but yeah, definitely
yeah.
had my fair share of bad. I'm rewinding everything in my head right now.
Right. So how do you kind of, and so you've got the good coach, you got the bad coaches, and then you got the ones in the middle. What are your strategies or tactics to try to coach the coaches up a little? Because, maybe they have potential, but they just need a little work. What are some of the
Um,
common mistakes for these volunteer coaches that you've kind of persuaded to come coach?
just having first a clipboard and a whistle, maybe, providing those supplies and giving them a practice game plan. I used to do that a lot for them and send them videos as I saw them, whether it be YouTube or Facebook. But I would create basically a whole playbook for them, a 6 to 8 week guide, and say, you are more than welcome to use this if you like,
Mhm.
but you don't have to. This is just me trying to help because you said you don't have any experience. A lot of them would take that advice and use it, and then some wouldn't, and you could see the difference with their
Yeah.
team throughout the season. Going back to T-ball, one thing I saw that works really well, and I'm sure anybody who's experienced a T-ball game, you have to have that organization in the dugout. Otherwise, it's chaotic. It's a mess.
Yeah. Well, I imagine over the years you would probably want to design some little orientation package or like some new coach cheat sheet or something. What would
Yep.
you put on the new coach cheat sheet?
Let's see. I'd probably put on there. Well, first would just be. Well, I actually downloaded like an app back then. I'm trying to think back. There was an app I found on the App Store where they could download the kid's age, what sport they're playing, how many practices a week per season. They could kind of formulate it for them, and it would give them a breakdown of everything in certain like exercises and activities to do. So that would be probably the first cheat code I'd put on there. Give them, and then as far as that, it would be communicate with your parents at least once, twice a week. Send out those friendly reminders.
Yeah.
Easy stuff.
Yeah. So how are they communicating? Is there some kind of app or software that they have now to facilitate that, or are you literally just texting your parents and kind of stuff?
Well, I was going to say nowadays there are probably WhatsApp. What is it? WhatsApp app.
WhatsApp, Slack.
Yeah, there's plenty of
Telegram.
apps. Back then, I think everyone was just texting, calling.
Yeah. All right. So we haven't even had a chance to talk about special events yet. I did want to tell one funny story. So I went to California. Oh gosh, it's been like 4 weeks ago, and we got on the topic of Easter egg hunts. And like you, this was their first special event, Easter egg hunt. And they noticed that the bunny, the Easter bunny, was kind of slowing down a little. And so she went over there to check on him, and she's like, "Do you need some help or some water?" And he's like, "Yes, please get me some water." "Well, come over here and sit down." Before they got to where he sat down, he collapses.
Oh,
So
gosh.
she was almost the special events coordinator that killed the Easter bunny in front of all these kids. And so it was a near miss. So what if you want to learn from her, make sure that your Easter bunny is hydrated and is not getting ready to pass out in front of your 5-year-olds. Okay, so let's go into, actually, look, we'll take our break kind of early because I want to give it, I don't want to break right in the middle of it. So what we'll do is we have 2 promos that we made for California and Illinois. We attended those state conferences as DPRS Media Company, and we got to interview some directors that were there, people that were putting on the events, a couple of the vendors that go to these events, and we had a blast. Even though it was really cold up in January in Chicago, but we went to Long Beach for the California one. And so out of that, we were able to, our design team and our video editing team, big shout out to Chris, he designs a lot of these. He made 2 little 1-minute promos for these. And so if you're an executive director listening and you would like the Daily Parks and Rec show to come and cover your event and then produce the content that you can then use online, hit us up on LinkedIn and we'd love to attend. And we want to try to get to all 50 states eventually, but we only do about 15 a year. So can't go to all of them this year, but we will be at NRPA and a couple other states that we got on the books already. So Jovi, why don't you go ahead and play those, and then we'll come back and talk special events with Rae.
It started with a shared purpose, a vision to bring people together, to inspire, to learn, and to lead. And at CPRS Conference 2026, that vision came to life. From every conversation to every connection made, this wasn't just an event, it was a community in motion. Ideas were challenged, perspectives were expanded, and leaders stepped forward, ready to shape the future of parks and recreation. At DPRS Media Network, we had the privilege of capturing it all. The passion, the innovation, the stories that deserve to be seen and heard. Because these moments don't just stay here, they ripple outward into communities, into programs, into lives. To the organizers, the speakers, the partners, and every single attendee, thank you for showing up, for sharing your voice, and for being part of something bigger than all of us. This is more than a conference. This is a movement. And DPRS Media Network will continue to tell your story every step of the way. We'll see you at the next one. This year, we didn't just attend an event. We became part of something bigger. IPRA 2026 brought together leaders, innovators, and community builders, all united by one mission: to strengthen parks, recreation, and the people they serve. For DPRS Media Network, it was an honor to join IPRA 2026 and take part in meaningful, real-time conversations, capturing stories and amplifying voices that matter. To IPRA, thank you for creating a space where collaboration thrives and the future of parks and recreation is shaped together. We extend our deepest gratitude to Amelia and all our partners who made these live interviews possible. IPRA 2026 wasn't just an event, it was a reminder that when communities connect and stories are shared, impact follows. From all of us at DPRS Media Network, thank you, IPRA. Thank you, partners and sponsors. We're honored to stand with you and excited for what's next.
All right. So, well, before we get into special events, so what was the next step? You said you dipped your toe literally dipped your toe in aquatics. Wesley would be proud of me for that one. What did you do between athletic director and where you are today?
So it was athletics, events, aquatics, and now it's kind of general administration, grant, overseeing our grant funds and grant administration, policy updates. So, and then I still am involved in events. So, on top of, I guess, so Cabarrus County, we kind of serve our 50 and older population. So I guess more of the senior side of things now, or I like to say active adults.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think there's a new term for that. It's active adults. And so because we saw the seniors having so much fun that we wanted to jump in there with them. And then the seniors don't like being called seniors. But I don't know if you've noticed. Have you noticed that I'm dating myself, but there was an old show called, oh, shoot, I can't remember. Well, you remember the Golden Girls? I don't know if you ever heard of that, the Golden Girls.
Yeah.
You know how they had those old women? They were all 50.
In the show, but they acted older, or?
No, I think that was their actual, no, that's a good question. But I mean, today's 50-year-olds look like they're 30.
Correct.
And it's crazy how young the population, you don't notice it, but the older population is looking younger and younger. So I guess we are kind of taking care of ourselves a little bit more. All right, so that's it. So you went straight from aquatics to special events was your next kind of job?
Well, all in one. So I was the athletic special events supervisor, and somehow aquatics folded into that.
Oh, that's classic Parks and Rec. It's like, here, you didn't leave the job. Here's 5 more hats. Go ahead and run that. And so what was it like running your first special events? What did that look like?
It was good. I think the transition from my supervisor to letting me lead, because he was involved in every step, but it definitely had its moments of, I guess, me being young, having like that supervisory voice of saying, hey, I need you to do this, and them not trying to listen to my previous supervisor, right? So taking it from me now and not him. But other than that, my first event was, I want to say it was a Halloween event or like a fall festival kind of thing. And that was pretty good. It was in a downtown setting. So no major issues.
So when we first started talking offline, you had mentioned how there's so much goes into a special event. And most people, they see the special event on the day of, they see the fireworks go off or the Easter egg hunt, and then they get in their car and go home. But there's so much more that goes into it. So Maybe you can take us through, let's say you've been assigned a special event. What does the whole calendar year look like? Because a lot of these events, they're planned all year, even though they might only happen on one day.
I was gonna say nowadays with food trucks and those, I guess, third party vendors being so popular,
Hmm.
usually you're booking them in January. If your event is the way I used to do it was I would try to book everyone in January for the upcoming year.
Oh,
The
wow.
Easter event, we wouldn't have as many of those vendors, so it didn't play a big part in that. But for some, they may be 6 months out getting food truck vendors for Easter.
Mm.
Just because that's so popular now, you gotta book them before they get booked. But
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
on top, yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Well, I was going to say those food truck vendors, man, where did they come from? I mean, we went from never seeing a food truck to now they're just swamp every single special event. And so, what's your favorite food truck to have, or your favorite type of food that you got to have this? So,
I love a good pizza food truck, but I would say like empanadas. Those are good food trucks.
oh yeah, yeah. You got. So, how do you stop from having like 10 taco trucks? Do you have like a limit? Like we can only have 2 taco trucks per event.
Well, I think there's like a national average of 250 people or so, maybe 300 people per food truck. And then, like you said, just trying to weed out that you don't have 10 taco trucks, just looking at your applications, I guess,
Right.
selecting who you might have that relationship with most.
Also, if you have, let's say, 5,000 people showing up to an event, then on average, you need to get 20 food trucks if they can only handle roughly
I would
250
say,
people.
yeah, generally just, I think that's a rule of thumb, but then
Yeah,
not everyone's going to use them. You got to have desserts. So you got to have like ice
right.
cream truck, maybe funnel cakes, um, the variety.
All right. So what are the varieties that you have? We'll kind of run through the list. So obviously you
Yeah.
want a taco truck, you want maybe an ice cream truck. What are the other maybe five
Um,
or 10?
I don't know. Let's see. You got barbecue trucks.
Oh yeah, those they got a line
Yeah.
here in New Orleans they do.
Barbecue, tacos. Like I said, pizza trucks are good,
Hmm.
depending on your event. Funnel cakes, ice cream. I don't know. There's a lot. You might have two ice cream trucks. I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. Now, do y'all do anything kind of special for the kids? Like have a clown or face painting or pictures or anything like that?
Yeah, I used to contract out like a face painter, balloon artist. Sometimes we've done like stilt walkers,
Hmm.
and in the past I've used a contractor for they would put on an entire like theatrical show
Hmm.
for Christmas or whatever event we asked them to do, and they would like pretty much dress up as, let's say, elves,
Hmm.
and walk around the event.
Oh, that's cool. Now, do y'all have to book? Were you in charge of booking like the entertainment or the band or anything like that?
Yep. So once a year we would meet with our booking agent, and so we did May. I think it was May, April, May to September. And then around November of each year, we would meet with our booking agent to go ahead and schedule for the next calendar year.
Hmm. Now, do y'all have these events that are like, every Thursday we have live music, or we have like a movie in the park or something, to where it's like, maybe for 2 or 3 months you do something every day of the week or something.
Yeah. So my previous employer, we did a monthly concert series. So it was the third, I want to say third Friday of every month. And then we also did a monthly movie event in one of our parks that was in collaboration with our county Parks and Rec at the time. So
Hmm.
they would provide the movie screen, we'd provide the movie and all the vendors, and it was a good partnership.
Yeah. And so what does the team look like, as far as, obviously you have somebody maybe that's in charge of special events, or maybe that's one of the hats they wear, but who are the other staff members that participate in planning, and then of course the day of, who's participating from the Parks and Rec department to put it on?
When I was overseeing the events, I relied heavily on our administrative assistant. She would kind of help me keep track of vendor COIs and things like that in case they were going out of date. But now we have program supervisors, assistants, your program managers. So, like myself, I would be heavily involved in all the day to day planning,
Hmm.
reaching out to the contractors, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Now, do y'all have to also go find sponsorships for the whole event, correct?
Yes.
So
So
what?
I was gonna say, so recently we just had a huge active living and wellness expo, and we
Mhm.
had 31 sponsors.
Oh, wow.
So, pretty good turnout from a sponsorship standpoint. I would say that event was self-sustainable,
Mhm.
minus a few things. Obviously, it wasn't all indirect costs, but from a direct cost standpoint, we pretty much covered everything with the
Oh,
sponsorship.
oh, that's good. And so what kind of sponsorship pack was it, like a 2 or $300 and you get your logo or something like that? And then what
For
was
for that event, the bron I think our lower tier was 500 was our
Mhm.
base, and it went up to 2,500.
Yeah,
So,
and that's kinda like the primary sponsor that's, pays for the band or whatever else?
yeah.
What do those conversations look like? Were you given a list of, "Here's who sponsored us in the past," and then, how do you handle that phone call? Do you just kinda introduce yourself and, "Hey, you wanna send us $2,500 and sponsor our whatever?"
Basically, you're just like, "Are you gonna sponsor again?"
Yeah.
Hopefully, they haven't, had any turnover because 'cause I've had that in the past where they have a new contact person, and
Yeah,
then normally that's when you lose a sponsor,
yeah.
or because they've always done it, that new person is just like, "Okay," and they just write you a check, um, but yeah, for the most part, you're just following up, keeping that relationship throughout the year, not just when the event rolls around. So I try to send emails here and there, like hope you're having a good week. Talk to you soon. Little
Yeah.
things.
And so what are the common special events that, say, almost every city runs? I'm thinking like 4th of July celebration. It seems like
Mhm.
every city has something going there, but what are some of the other special events that you've kinda seen?
The Easter, it's always Easter, 4th of July, Christmas tree lightings.
Mhm.
I think the Christmas tree lightings are a big one, especially for small towns.
Yeah.
Um, and they're generally easy, I think, to run. I mean, you have your tree and the lights and maybe a stage with local. I did a local dance company. You might get some carolers and the elementary school students, their choir could come out and sing some songs. And
Mm.
then you light the tree.
That's it.
Pretty,
Now
pretty
now were there any, do you ever do anything like a 5K or anything like that?
The department I'm with now, so Cabarrus County, we run 3 5Ks a year, and then one of our parks, Franklin Park, they host several 5Ks probably monthly,
Mm.
or cross country meets. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, our department runs 3 5Ks each year.
So I don't think I've ever asked any questions about a 5K. I've actually do 5Ks here in New Orleans. They've got them. Seems like every weekend there's some 5K you can go run. But what's the logistics or how do you set up for a 5K for your city?
So thankfully, we have a lot of park rangers, and they're
Mhm.
able to, I think, like map out the course each time and mark it to where when the runners are going they know which direction to run, but we usually have anywhere from 12 to 20 staff working the event, and
Mhm.
we're stationed at each of those checkpoints, on top of registration, and then awards at the end.
And so I'm assuming just because I've run 5Ks, somebody's got to set up. And I've never thought about this as participant, but now that I'm kind of putting myself in the headspace of somebody putting this on, I probably would have forgotten to put the water tables and the porta
Yep.
potties. I
Yep.
would have had the worst 5K ever. What are some of the things that you kind of have to set up similar to the water table and some other stuff?
In the past, I've seen like for road closures, if you're doing one in downtown, you would need to make
Mhm.
sure you have your road closures, the permits maybe with the city or your own department. Um, Again, just having volunteer or staff at those checkpoints to make sure no one's getting lost. And then you could have them on site or just have them available, but of course, like EMS, in case someone goes down. So running
Yeah.
in a park, we've had individuals fall, like trip a rock or something, and um, you have
Yeah.
to do what you got to do.
Oh yeah, yeah. I used to coach cross country with all the kids, and every single race there was 3 or 4 people that at the finish line just collapsed,
Yep.
and they treated it like yeah, this happens every time. We'll get them past it.
Knees
Um,
up.
that's it. They're just fainting on the ground, and they kind of just drag them off to the side and let the race continues like nothing happened.
Yep.
Um, and then a lot of these 5Ks, you pretty much are running a festival, or at the end. I imagine that kind of runs just like whatever entertainment or food trucks, all that still applicable, right?
Yeah, one of our park program manager, he sometimes has our sponsors are there. They have a tent and table. They're providing the goodies.
Uh-huh.
We've had a brewery, so a brewing company sponsor before, and they provide samples for attendees to get after the race if they're 21 or older. But yeah, I mean, and then you got to think about the medals, T-shirts. Nowadays, everybody wants a prize.
Oh yeah. Now, what's your, of all the special events you've ever seen or done, what's your favorite one that you've ever participated
My
in?
favorite, I don't know. That's a good question. Probably the tree lighting. I used to really enjoy the tree lighting. I've
Yeah.
done tree lightings in the pouring down rain when we should have canceled it 2 days before, and then I've done it when it was 80 degrees because North Carolina, the weather
Right.
changes. But it's just a very laid back. It's the holidays. Everyone's festive. It's a good event.
Yeah. Now, what's the hardest one you've ever done? Or are there any like special events, face plants, explosions that happened?
I would say I was tasked with trying to do my own fall festival outside of. We already had like a Halloween event,
Uh-huh.
and they were within 2 weeks of each other. That was probably the hardest.
Oh my goodness. What was hard about it?
Well, just you're practically doing the same event.
Oh,
It just was the same people. I was burning myself out trying to do it. And then another event I would say was 4th of July. We were tasked with city leadership asked us to move the event across town. So the event that's been established for 50 years in one of our parks, they asked us to move it to another park on a Saturday or something, and it was 100 degrees out. Nobody showed up.
oh no.
That was probably one of my hardest events too.
Yeah. I think the worst thing that can happen, aside from weather, is nobody showing up.
Well,
That being
especially
said,
4th of July. We
I
usually
know.
bring in, 100,000 people because of the surrounding area. People are parking and ready for the fireworks, but not that year.
Oh my goodness. Did y'all ever have a fire display, whatever fireworks not work or?
We've had them work. Definitely had some delays in the finale, where
Uh-huh.
I guess the timer, or however they set it up, just delayed and didn't go off. So the finale is going off and then it just stops.
Yeah.
And then it kicks back up. So I've had that before.
Yeah.
Lots of Facebook comments after that.
Yeah. I had one friend in Iowa. She ran one, and I think it was like supposed to be like a 20-minute firework display.
Yeah.
And something went wrong and everything went off in like 3 minutes.
Oh gosh.
And they were saying, all the comments were, man, that was the best 4th of July fireworks I've ever seen, but it was kind of short.
I think that's another thing I've heard. Anywhere from like 18 to 22 minutes is a good sweet spot
Yeah.
for fireworks.
Yeah. Okay. So let's dig a little into kind of what you're doing today, because now you're wearing a bunch of hats, and it seems like you're more on the, I don't want to say what the business side of Parks and Recreation, but what does that look like? And what's your given week look like?
Well, this week we're going through, like I said, office renovations. I think I told you that.
Yeah. I
so
like what
this
you did with the wall.
Yeah,
It's just great.
So overseeing that project, we're doing painting, carpet install, and brand new office furniture. So our hallway right now is, you can barely get through the hallway. So that's this week. But on a normal week, typically I'm following up with our program staff, making sure they're turning in receipts and all the good things for our grant compliance, and trying to make sure we follow compliance on a couple of our grants. But and then let's see, just overseeing some of our major events. We just had the expo. I oversee our senior games, which is a 2-month-long program. And then in the fall, we do a touch a truck event at one of our at the Cabarrus Arena. And so that's a pretty good turnout as well.
Now, what is that? What is that? Because I've heard people start to mention that, and I don't know how long that's been going on, but maybe just describe what that is.
A touch a truck?
Yeah.
So I like to say it's just a family-friendly event where we have all of the police, fire, maybe we have a mulch truck, we have dump trucks, excavators, and all kinds of farm equipment show up, and kids are able to get in and test them out, see if they like it, honk the horns, all
Yeah.
the fun, annoying things because
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
very loud day. But we do offer a sensory hour at the beginning, and then I've been trying to get more community organizations involved in that so that we have not just vehicles
Yeah.
around. We have some other stuff to give them as well.
Yeah, a long time ago, I used to own an electrical contracting business in a former life, and I think it was Brett Richard. He had the idea, Craig, why don't you bring one of your bucket trucks and you can just take the kids up in this 50-foot truck? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. The entire school wanted to get in the bucket truck, and I'm like, Brett, I'll be here till like Wednesday if I give every kid a ride. But that's the kids loved it, especially all the little boys. They wanted to go up in the bucket truck. And I imagine if you can like sit in a fire truck or a dump truck or sit on a lawnmower, that's got to be awesome.
We the city of Concord here has like this SWAT truck that looks like a
Oh,
big,
that's cool.
really cool, big hit. And then we also get our canine squad out, and they'll do like demos with the canines.
Oh,
So
nice.
other things that are not truck related.
Yeah. Now, are you involved at all with your Parks and Rec Association in North Carolina?
Yes. When are you coming?
I was talking to, I think, the president of South Carolina.
Okay.
And I think this last year, didn't y'all do it together with North and South Carolina?
Yep, it was in Charleston.
Yeah, and we couldn't pull it off, but I know we're in talks to try to go to the combined one, or we would go to either one. But yeah, I can't wait to go to the Carolinas. I love the Carolinas. Y'all have a gorgeous state, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. So how do you participate in the North Carolina Parks and Rec Association?
I got more involved maybe the past 3-4 years. I joined the athletics professionals workshop and just attended, and somehow became the chair my last year of that advisory group. So I just rolled off of that recently. I'm involved with our supervisory advisory group, so we just kind of help with those one-day workshops that they do virtually, and then I also help with selecting like conference sessions and those types of things.
Now, I don't think I've spoken to anybody in North Carolina, so if you want to help me get in touch with the executive director, it takes a little bit of planning, but yeah, if we can help us get those conversations started, I'd love to come to y'all's next. When do y'all usually have it?
So it's normally in, I think, December, but this year we're going to have it in November in the mountains of North Carolina. So that'd be pretty.
Oh, that would be. Well, yeah. Help me get in touch with them, and we'd love to take the show to North Carolina. That would be fun. I know this is kind of cheating for me, but it's just a way for me to go on vacation to these places I would never go. Like we went to Long Beach in California. It was just stunning. I mean, it's just beautiful out there in California. So
you work a few hours and then go have fun.
Yeah. Well, y'all know how to party. It's like, y'all go to your sessions, and it looks like y'all are all professional, trying to get smarter and get educated. But then at night, it's just like a big family reunion, and everybody
That's the best time to network is at night.
Yeah, that absolutely is. And I don't know how, like, some people go there. I imagine everybody's attending these stuff, but the nighttime events are just amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's when I've met probably more people during the socials than during the classes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of where you really get to meet your counterparts, and then you'll kind of share information. Now, have you ever, I'm assuming like when you meet people, and let's say they're running a great farmer's market, and then you've just been handed a farmer's market, you don't know anything about it. Was there somebody you connected with that you kind of, they sent you all their cheat sheet on how to run this event?
I wouldn't say like that, but I've definitely networked with a few of the people that are like in neighboring counties. Anytime I come across somebody and I'm like, oh, you're an hour from me, that's probably been the best. And I usually follow up with them with the email, like, it was so great to meet you. And just try to keep their contact.
Yeah. Now, are you involved at all with the National NRPA?
I just attended the Revenue Development and Management School, year 1. So
what's that like?
It was good. It was really good. Met a lot of people across the nation. So anyone that met me there, hopefully they're watching this. But yeah, that was is a great school to attend for anyone who's looking to maybe expand on ways to do sponsorships and manage their budget, their finances, things like that.
So what'd you learn?
um, Way too much stuff, to be honest. But one thing I'm hoping to implement here is a net promoter score. So kind of like your big companies do.
Uh-huh.
Um,
I don't
our
even know what that is. What is that? A net promoter score?
You know how you are sent a survey after attending an event or anything, and it's got 10 questions on it, and you just select great, 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 great.
Oh yeah.
So the net promoter score would be just a single. Were you satisfied? Did you have fun? Right, one question, and you answer it from 1 to 10, and you take all that data based on however many people filled out the survey, and you put it in a calculation, and you get your net promoter score.
Oh, nice. So it's kind of like when you take an Uber ride, you're like, it's just a 5-star rating, pretty much.
But it's one question, easy.
One question.
Simple, yeah.
And what's the general question? Did you have a great time, or?
Yeah, it could just be, were you satisfied today? And then you could have an open-ended question underneath it, because if they wasn't satisfied, they're going to tell you.
Yeah. And how do you get that information out? Is that kind of like on an app, or you send it out on Facebook, or just paper that you collect?
We use a lot of hard copies. If it's internal, we try to just use forms, some kind of form, Microsoft form. And then for our programs, we use Civic Rec. So Civic Rec allows you to do surveys automatically after programs, finish. But so trying to get everybody on that same system here, because I know our programmers are asking all the time, what survey questions should we ask? Or does anyone have a survey template? So right now we're kind of in between different survey templates. And I'd like to see everyone just go one way.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
All right. So I want you to help me kind of pitch the industry to college and high school kids. So and we kind of do this towards the end of the show. So if you had to maybe give your personal testimony as to why, these college kids or these high school kids in front of you should dedicate their life to Parks and Recreation, what would you tell them?
I would say that Parks and Recreation is very diverse. There are so many avenues you could go, from rec leagues to aquatics, maintenance, you name it, maybe administration, finance. And I would just say it's all about creating those experiences for individuals. So as long as you kind of put yourselves in their shoes, if you're having a great time, make it an event that you would want to come to again. That's kind of how I would.
I love that.
Yeah. Put yourself in their shoes.
That's it. All right. So I have 2 questions for you here at the end of the show. One of them is kind of a fun question. If you were a piece of playground equipment, what would it be and why?
I would be like the jungle gym where you can climb the netting.
Oh, yes.
Those are fun. I probably couldn't climb to the top, but that's what I want.
The ones they have today, I'm like, man, is that safe? But it looks like the kid would hit like 100 things on the way down if he did fall, because it's like this big stable net.
Yep.
It's crazy how advanced these playground equipments are getting. Okay, so the other question we have is, and I think this would be a good question for you. If you had an unlimited budget for a special event, what would it be?
I would probably try to do a big music festival. I think get all the top artists, unlimited concert, basically, maybe 2-3 days, kind of like the the Country Music Festival in Myrtle Beach, something like that.
We had one of those. I think it was Country Music Fest in LSU Stadium, which LSU was really picky about. You could do nothing but LSU football and you couldn't touch it. And then they finally, after years of being hounded, allowed us to use LSU Stadium. And we just had some huge headliners that came in, and that was always fun. The whole city kind of filled up for that one. Okay, so let's see. What question would you like to leave for my next guest?
That's a good question. I would like to ask the next guest. Let's see. That stumps me. Let's see. If they could switch careers, what career do they think they would go into?
Oh, that's a great one. I'm curious, what would be your answer to that one?
Probably something related to just project management, overseeing large projects.
Oh, that's fun. And there's a lot of that going on in Parks and
Yeah.
Rec. You can manage projects till the end of time in Parks and Recreation. There's always some playground that needs to be redone, or some
Yeah.
community center, or some office that needs to be completely
Exactly.
refurnished.
Exactly.
Well, Rae, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I really appreciate you sharing your journey with the rest of America. And hopefully, by the way, if you ever find yourself in New Orleans, we have something called Jazz Fest. If you like those concerts, it's a great one we have each year. So definitely look me up and I'll show you around the city.
All right. Sounds good. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Have a great rest of your week. Thank you.
You too.
Bye-bye. All right. So that was another great one on special events. And gosh, he just had a very rich experience so far. And that typically is how Parks and Rec runs. They just kind of throw you in the middle of it. You spend a year in athletics, and then they put you in aquatics for a year, and then they give you like 5 different hats to wear. And it's got to be the best university in the world to just learn how to manage the chaos that a city has. And especially in their Parks and Rec department, because there's so much stuff that, on day one, you're responsible to figure out. And so if you're looking to learn to just manage chaos, adapt and overcome, and build a community, and be in charge of people and kids and community just having fun in your city, I mean, this is such a great industry to work for. So I really appreciate Rae coming on the show today. All right. So in about 20, 30 minutes, if y'all want to go grab another cup of coffee, use the restroom, we've got On the Front Line coming up with Jonathan Prue. He is I would say he has probably got some of the longest experience that I've ever encountered in MWR, which is basically the Parks and Rec for the military bases. And he gets some amazing guests on the show. So we do that every Tuesday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern, On the Front Line. And so that's going to be starting here shortly. Thank y'all for attending today, and we'll see y'all here again tomorrow.
Before the game, before the lights, before the pressure, there's a moment most people never see. Welcome to The Athlete's Commute, a podcast distributed by DPRS Media Network, co-produced by Her Sports, and hosted by Jordan Ziff. Each episode, Jordan gets behind the wheel, driving athletes to practice, to training, to game day, while getting to know who they really are beyond the jersey. The mindset, the grind, the sacrifices, the moments no one talks about. No scripts, no filters, just real conversations in real motion. Because every athlete has a journey, and every journey deserves to be heard. This is The Athlete's Commute. Buckle up.
Are you a vendor, brand, or service provider ready to connect with the heartbeat of local communities? At DPRS Media Co., we tell the stories shaping parks and recreation across America. Through podcasts, live streams, videos, and newsletters, we reach frontline leaders, city directors, and decision makers every single week. From youth sports and facilities to programming and policy, our audience is your audience. Sponsoring or partnering with DPRS Media Co. puts your brand in front of the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. Launching a new product, growing your presence in public spaces, targeting cities, counties, or departments, DPRS is your trusted media partner. Whether you're in software, turf, aquatics, robotics, smart cities, or special events, partnering with DPRS puts your brand in the story. With commercials, interviews, social campaigns, newsletters, and live shows, we're your media team. Partner with us and grow your impact in the $200 billion Parks and Rec industry. DPRS Media Co. Stories that move Parks and Rec forward. Your audience is here. Let's meet them.